My whole life literally U-turned in a year, okay? And then now, the last 3 years has just been rocketing year after year after year. Off the booze, off the wacky stuff, looking completely different. And it's like, you can turn your life around in just that short amount of time. I sell 400-gram watches to 20-year-olds, you know. I sit there, I look at them, I think, Jesus, well, you know, what are you doing? I went from a medium to an extra large, like as I was getting bigger, and I used to accuse my wife of shrinking my t-shirts. I'd be like, you shrank these, you shrank these. You know, my 20s to 30s was just party, 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 and now it's so far in the rear view of what I'm doing and what I hope I'm about to become.
Hello, I'm joined by the perfect case study today of how to get your physical fitness in order. Whether you're overweight and need to lose some fat or underweight and need to build some muscle, I'm going to talk to you today about Oscar's journey and how you can learn from it. Today, we're going to go through Oscar's overweight journey and what he did about it, the common misconceptions about being overweight, how you can make a change in your own life, and what's next for Oscar to put on even more muscle. So I've just put him through his paces in an intense workout, and we've been through a lot, which we'll show you a bit later on. And it's time to introduce our guest. So hello, mate. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me.
And I'm glad between us we've got so much to share to help such a different array of people today, like I mentioned at the start.
Absolutely, yeah, we've both been on some journeys.
So I gather throughout all of your 20s, you told me you're a bit of a party fiend, not really taking care of your physical health, not exercising much. Talk to me about that and then how you kind of started to address it.
Yeah, please. So I had a sort of slightly unique childhood. Both my parents are actors. They're quite famous on TV, and you know, what came with that is a lot of partying. Once I sort of found that, I felt like maybe I found my persona through drinking and being the maddest person of my lads group. You know, that caught up with me pretty quickly.
What age did that all start?
Yeah, so that all started probably in my early 20s, but it ran all the way through to my 30s. So yeah, it was a long and fun time, but got to sort of 30 and it was time to kind of make a change.
Yeah, so what, just like got really overweight?
Okay,
weren't the person you wanted to be, or?
So exactly that. So basically what came with the drinking and the partying lifestyle was the hangover meals, the takeaways, the launch of Deliveroo, you know, and I was eating like crap, and I looked terrible. At my height, I hit 105 kgs, sort of, you know, not good stuff. Made up of all the wrong things, beer and whatnot. I decided to make a change sort of towards the end of 2019. So
recent as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I quit drinking, I left it all behind, decided to start a fitness journey, because one of the main things that I sort of realised quite quickly once I'd quit the drinking is, with the worst of both worlds was being really fat and not even being a madman. You know what I mean? Like, one or the other.
You had worse of both.
I felt like I deserved to feel what it would feel like to be fit. So I thought, well, let's try that next.
I think so many people go one or two ways. You're looking for some kind of escape, and then it can be the binge eating or drinking or whatever it may be. Then as soon as you stop that, you're like, okay, well, especially if you've got the kind of personality that we both have, it's like, what can I throw myself into now?
Absolutely.
Talk to us about London to Brighton, because that was your main kind of motivator at the start.
Yeah,
right?
so that was my main motivator at the start. So basically, I actually decided to get fit just before the first lockdown. Obviously, I didn't know that was coming. And I'd been in the gym and I'd been sort of doing a bit of cardio. I started with running, then I quickly realised I'd get shin splints, so it didn't really suit me. And then I was on a fixed bike, you know, in the gym still. And again, I just sort of found that quite boring. So I got so lucky, I ended up being one of the last people to get a specialised men's bike in a size large weeks before the lockdown.
Nice.
You know, obviously they all said
everyone was going to be after it.
Listen, so I got one, I secured it, and then I started sort of riding like crazy, and I set my eyes on the London to Brighton, which is a 55-mile ride. To be honest, I overtrained for it because I've never done anything like that in my life. You know how your feed's full of all cool people doing marathons and all this stuff, and you're like, wow, I wonder if I could ever do something like that. Sure. So I thought, let me try this bike ride, I want to do it. And I actually overtrained for it. I went too crazy, to be honest, and then that went on to the sort of next part, which I think we're going to discuss, which is...
for sure. Well, so what weight did you get down to?
Yeah, so I probably got down to maybe 80, something like that. So I must have lost, like 25 kilos. And yeah, I mean, it's mad to think about. about. But I'll tell you something that may find interesting just in the sort of struggle towards getting larger and where it all sort of changed for me. So I used to buy my t-shirts from H&M, right? Because they're cheap. Like at the time they were like $4.99. I don't know how much they are now, but I went from a medium to an extra large, like as I was getting bigger, and I used to accuse my wife of shrinking my t-shirts. I'd be like, you shrank these, and then I would chuck them all out and I'd go to the next size. And when I was starting to feel tight in an extra large, like I was thinking I've got to buy them all in double XL, and I was like, enough's enough, like I'm going the other way now. So I think, I don't know if that resonates with anyone, but sometimes you just have that little moment where you're like, this is ridiculous, like I'm just getting bigger and bigger.
For sure. I think that's one of the biggest tips for people that want to make a change in their life, whatever it is, and it's often referenced as the region beta paradox, where something's not as good as you want it, but it's not bad enough to give you that activation energy to change it. For me, I've got two major examples. One of them was my job. I hated it so much, I was so unhappy, I knew I couldn't continue, and that forced me to go and do what I'm doing now. And also with the skinniness and the low confidence when I was 18 to 19 years old, I was like, realized that, okay, I was so unhappy in that position, that was what got me into the gym every day. And it's kind of the same for you. You got to that point where the t-shirts were shrinking magically and you decided, like, I can't go any further, now we need to make a change. And I think that's an important lesson for everyone to learn. Like, address whatever it is in your life, and you can kind of spot that trend, and you don't have to reach the end of the line or rock bottom or whatever you might want to call it before you can make the change, because the power is always in your hands. But you need to really dig deep, find that motivation, and then that consistency comes as a matter of course, you know.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk to you about diet, because I think you said everything's been self-taught, you didn't really know what you were doing. How did you implement like the change in your lifestyle alongside that exercise? Yeah,
absolutely. So, you know, I'll put my hands up and say everything was self-taught. I really didn't know what I was doing on the diet or the exercise. I was that classic like 30-year-old who just like started listening to David Goggins and reading, you know, listening to his audiobooks and stuff, and I sort of got obsessed. And diet, I found something which really worked for me. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a promoter of it or anything like that, but I found something called Huel, and I like stuck to it. So I had it for breakfast and lunch every day for like a year, you know, and then at dinner I would have something simple like chicken, rice, whatever. Nice. And for me, I'm not saying it would work for everybody, but for me it really worked, because breakfast before that would have been egg, bacon, hash browns, and you know, the usual. And then lunch would have been a Nando's or something fun with chips and everything, you know. Not saying that I don't still love Nando's, because I absolutely do, but you know, bad choices were made when ordering. Okay, so Huel for me really just managed to just get me down that line, because it was like, right, you just drink that thing and you're done. And it helped because I was always a busy man anyway, so it's on the go, it's easy peasy. For sure. You can get it.
I want to touch on that as well, because that's the biggest misconception in diet and health you've kind of touched on there when you said Huel worked for you but it didn't work for anyone else. And this is, people think that a certain diet is going to get them the results they want. So whether it be a keto diet where you're just eating fats and proteins, or veganism, or intermittent fasting, whatever it may be, the benefit of that diet is it's a method and leverage to get into a calorie deficit. So like you said, the Huel obviously worked because you were restricting your calories at breakfast, restricting your calories at lunch, then eating clean at dinner. And so I don't know what's in a bottle, 400 calories or so. What you're having 400 calories instead of 1,000 calorie fry up, but still you've got that mindset of it's filled me up, I'm waiting to the next mealtime. Same with intermittent fasting, you're closing the window in which you can eat, therefore restricting your calories. So it's about finding the method that works best for you so that you can be in a calorie deficit. And worth always mentioning while we're on the topic, if you want to build muscle, you need to be eating more calories than your body needs to sustain its weight. And if you want to lose fat, you need to be eating less calories than your body needs to sustain its weight. So what you were doing, obviously, you were in a calorie deficit, and because you had the excess body fat on your body says, okay, we're consuming X amount, but we need this amount in order to maintain weight. Therefore, we're going to consume our body fat in order to make up that delta. And that's why the weight comes down.
Absolutely. And that's the thing as well that I often say about the diet aspect of it, because people often say to me, oh, it must be amazing, I'll try that Huel or whatever, and you're so lucky it worked for you. But actually, what people don't talk about is the fact that at the height of my cycling, I was doing 40 miles a day. So obviously the Huel played a part in it, but at the end of the day, you can't cheat it. There's no magic shake, there's nothing. Like, if you're not out giving it all on the bike or whatever it is that you're into, then you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose. Anyway.
You pulled me up on something I missed there as well, because it's like that. It's that equation of move more, eat less. So the calories you need in a day is relative to your energy expenditure, obviously. So if you're doing that amount of cycling every single day, getting into the gym as well, the amount that you need to sustain your weight goes up, and therefore that calorie deficit is increased. You know. So even if you'd been eating the same, let's say hypothetically, even if you'd been eating the same amount with the same habits as you had before you started the exercise, you still would have gained weight at a slower rate, or obviously lost weight at a slower rate, because you've now implemented that extra exertion, you know?
Yeah, and I had no idea at the time about the eating more, which I believe we're going to touch on in a bit, but that sort of side of it was no knowledge. So all I knew at that time was I was just losing loads, but I wasn't questioning it because it was good.
It was working.
Yeah, it was working.
But that, we spoke about off camera, that led you to look a bit alien-like, as you said. So
it did indeed,
what
yeah.
happened
So,
next?
okay, so basically I started looking like, well, I'm quite tall as it is. Woke up one day and sort of looked at myself, like, this was sometime before the London to Brighton, but I was at the height of my cycling. I could do 3-4 hour rides in the morning before work. I had this little thing that I was obsessed with, which was I used to be the first man on Tower Bridge. So I go to Tower Bridge that early that there's not even a car on it, okay?
Yeah, nice.
And that's before work. So I was mad into it, and something about, because I grew up in London, I live in London, I was actually very comfortable amongst the traffic. So I'm not like one of those cyclists that likes to go out to the countryside and see all the windy roads. I like jumping in and out of like DPD vans and like thing, and like, jumping red lights and whatever, that's where I got my cycling buzz.
Nice.
This thing of first man on Tower Bridge and all this kind of stuff, these are the little things I got addicted to, because that personality that I have, which is definitely addictive personality, would kind of throw me into another level of it, because it's like I had to tick that box before I could even start my day.
Yeah, for sure. And that comes back to that motivation that we spoke about at the start as well. It's like having that drive within you to go after it. And that's what's got you to the position that you're in now.
Absolutely.
And so, obviously, you're not alien-like anymore. I would like to compliment you on that.
No, thank you so much.
So you've put on some muscle.
I have, and I've been trying to do that. So basically, as we sort of just touched on, so I decided I'd look like too tall, too skinny to sort of like a Bradley Wiggins type thing.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you the amount of money I must have spent on changing sizes of clothes. Like whole wardrobes, just madness, but
you'll need all the fat stuff again soon, won't
exactly, yeah. So I woke up one day, and that was probably, I don't know, like back end of last year or something, and I just decided I was too skinny, I looked weird, didn't have anything sort of about me, and I wanted to look like you, basically, as most men do. So what I sort of decided then is like, right, let me see what we can do now. So I toned down the cycling, and I started some weights, which you've very kindly been helping me with.
Yeah, so we trained, I've given you a few drips and drabs of advice, and then we trained today quite intensely for about an hour and a half.
So you train with Adam, and then you realise that everything you've been doing is wrong. And also you feel pain in new places that you didn't know existed.
That's what I'm here for.
So that's obviously when you're doing things properly, and something I fell into, which we've realised today, which I'm sure a lot of your audience might resonate with, is that I basically was just doing all of the exercises that I'm comfortable with. So I'm like, oh, I'm good on that one. Oh, I'm good at that little thing. So I'm just doing all the things I like, and I wasn't doing much that I don't like.
And that is what's going to fill out and round off your physique in the different areas that you like. Obviously, there's the fitness meme of the guy that trains upper body but not lower body.
That was definitely me at the start.
But there's also some intricacies, like I'm going to talk everyone through the program that we went through today, roughly, and what I built for you. Because it's something that you can do at home or at the gym with the amount of equipment that you've got.
Absolutely.
And we want to build that kind of masculine V taper. So obviously we're not neglecting legs, but we're focusing on those aesthetic manly muscles. Like, for example, you've never done lateral raises before, and we went through that, and that's really going to add to your overall width. And before we get into the actual session, I've got a gift for you, Oscar.
Oh, thank you.
I've got you, my friend, a home pull-up bar.
Okay.
Because you've got the home equipment that we're going to run through in a second, but you haven't got, there you go, it's yours now.
I don't. Thank you so much.
Because you need, obviously, it's my favourite exercise, it's the OG back exercise, and you need to incorporate it to build your biceps, your lats, your lower traps, and your rear delts as well. So, as we've been through some pull-ups today, that's going to come in very handy.
You're very kind, and thank you so much. And, I am the type of person that, you've given me this now, so now I have to get good on it. Watch this space.
Well, you say get good on it. Your pull-ups, for someone that's never done them before, I'm going to run everyone through the session that we did today, were absolutely phenomenal. So we did a couple of overhand pronated grip, which, like I said, is going to work the muscles I just mentioned. And then we went into ring pull-ups, which is going to simulate that neutral grip on that pull-up bar that I bought you as well. So you'll go away and you'll build up your reps over about 3 sets. And we went through how intensely you need to be working as well. And that's going to be the foundation of your pull exercises.
Well, that's it. I mean, I can't recommend it enough, because the things you've shown me in just a short time today, I would have never have thought to have done on my own. I'm sure they're going to be a game changer for me. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Very kind.
No, you're very welcome, mate. So we started with pull-ups, and I'm going to continue the back theme and then talk through, obviously, the exercises that you're going to be doing from home or at the gym for your back and your biceps. Next was the bent over row. So we took a barbell as it was, learned that bent over row exercise, and that's going to be really hitting your mid traps, your rear delts, and your biceps. And you're going to nail in that form and tidy it up. Obviously, you can see slight differences between the two of us because it's so hard. Anything where you're hinging at the hips and bending over is really difficult one to nail. But you were pretty much 90% there already today. So
that's very kind.
Perfect
Thank
start.
you. I did find them extremely difficult, but that's the thing. You see, you've got to find those things that you find hard and do them.
Exactly.
That's the only way.
Exactly. Same thing with the shrugs. So we've looked at the lower traps, the lats, and the mid traps. We built in some shrugs as well. You can either do that at home with the barbell or the dumbbells, or with the barbell like we did today. Do you want to talk us through the difference that you made today?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically today I realised I've been doing shrugs wrong since January, basically.
Yeah.
So I had been holding the dumbbells and just going upwards, and what I should have been doing is moving my back or shoulders this way.
Up and back.
Up and back, up and back. And literally just that small little change there, again, you see me in 3 months, you're going to see a difference.
Extra range of motion and then extra muscle built.
But these are the things that I can't recommend, like training with someone like you enough, because let's say we didn't train today, okay? I go another year. I'm still doing them the wrong way.
Exactly.
You know, so you got to at some point just fess up and be like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing. I'm not actually taking on online clients at the moment because of the big trip that I'm planning. So I've got my small roster that we're nailing things with at the moment. But I think it's super important that it's an investment when you get an online coach or an in-person coach, because a good coach is going to transfer all of their knowledge to you. They're not going to hold on to it and keep you doing the wrong things. So now, for example, just from that one session, you've built your form up there and then you can carry that away. So if you think of that investment as you're going to carry it for the rest of your lifting career, not just the months that you're with them, you know?
Absolutely, that I agree.
So now to move on to push, the compound exercises with push, the biggest one to build that big V frame with that chest thickness and that shoulder thickness is the incline dumbbell press with the options that you've got at home and at the gym. Doing that, we're going to build a bit of lateral delt, a lot of front delt, a lot of upper chest, and a lot of mid chest, obviously with the triceps as well. So it's like the perfect compound pushing movement, and your form bang on today already. So very, very impressed. You're going to build a lot of muscle, especially the first thing we did today was those press ups, wasn't it? And your tempo was too fast. I don't know if
Far too fast, yeah.
I don't know if you carried that tip on into the presses, because then your tempo was perfect. You're like slow eccentrics exploding up.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see how your chest and shoulders grow and your numbers progress as
Absolutely. So am I. I
the
can't
weeks
wait.
go
And
on.
also, you got me to a PB straight out the gate.
Yeah. First thing I said was too light. Next one.
Yeah.
I'll see if we got both videos of when you picked up the 25.
Absolutely.
And then
So I'd never picked up a 30 before, and you got me straight on it, and there we go. Now
I even said that was too heavy. I think like you've got 35 in you very soon. So
yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Now we want to round off the delts, and delts are so important for that V-taper physique, as I keep mentioning. And so the barbell or dumbbell overhead press is really going to round that off. So obviously we've got an incline press where we're using a bit of delt, but then we went on to the barbell press, focusing on the shoulder positioning, and I worked you really hard on this one as well. And essentially we're just in an upright position and we're pushing the bar above our heads, and that's going to really activate the medial delt and the front delt as well. How did you find that one?
So I found that tricky, but I also really was interested to see that you had to push your head through the gap.
Yeah.
So again, if I'd have been doing that on my own, there's absolutely no way I'd have known to have done that. You know, and it did make all of the difference, including the breathing that you gave me, which I believe was in and then out as it goes up.
Yeah, exactly.
So that again,
those little tips are just like getting those micro percents.
Yeah, exactly. And you wouldn't let me give up on that one as well.
No, so, it's a nice one to fail on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not aware of the failure term until today, and I tell you what, for
excellent.
My body.
The final push exercise that we're going to touch on, we went through a couple more today, but the big one that we mentioned already in this video is the lateral raise. The form is so hard to get right, and so it took me ages to kind of work it out and critique it on my own, but having someone in person, someone that knows what they're doing, we worked out exactly your elbow position, your shoulder position, your upper arm position, your hand position, everything all in one go, and your form was excellent by the end. And you can feel the biggest mistake people make is they'll pick up 8 kg or 10 kg because they're like, oh, I shouldn't be using any less than that. But honestly, I got you starting on 4 kg.
You got me starting on 5s, and they was absolutely the way that you had me doing it. So that's the interesting thing, right? If you'd have asked me, Oscar, what could you have done that on beforehand? I would have got 14s,
yeah, exactly.
which is what you were doing, and I would have just started going like,
yeah, exactly.
You see, because I know I can do that with 14, but that's not the right exercise or movement. So once you show me the right one, we went down to 5s.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's what we want. And then you can gradually build it up. Like I've been lifting for, what did I say, 8, 9, 10 years, and I'm only using 14, 16. So it really shows you how slowly you have to progress with it.
Exactly. So it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because to do it properly is the key.
Yeah.
And I can do it not properly with 14s. I can stand right next to you. You know what I mean? But nothing's happening. So, you know, it's about that kind of thing of if you get it right, right, then
Yeah.
you can build on that, and then you're going to get the changes.
Excellent. So that's push and pull, the majority of the compound lifts taken care of. And then your cycling's insane, and you've got some big quads to show for it as well. But that extra leg stability and those accessory exercises, the three major ones that you can do at home with minimal equipment. So I'll start actually with this one, the split squat. That was the one I did through a lot of COVID. I was doing pistol squats and split squats to maintain all of my quad strength. Very difficult, as you know, like they make you go lightheaded and want to throw up. But with less weight, obviously you're only attacking one leg at a time, so you put more load through that dominant quad.
Yeah.
Fantastic exercise. You nailed that.
Thank you so much. So this was by far my most, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on here, but this was my fuck you Adam moment. You can bleep it out if you need. But it was just like so difficult and something that I've never done before. And I believe we did that with 17s.
Yeah. That was a lot of weight as well.
I got to like 6 and I wanted to give up. Yeah, that
you
was
did very
tricky.
Well. But you've got that kind of addictive mentality, as you said, and like you want something that really pushes you and you can progress in. So I can see you doing a lot of them in the future.
Absolutely.
And then the two ones that have been the bulk of building my legs, to be honest, was the back squat. Everyone knows the back squat. We just kind of critiqued your form a little bit, which was excellent.
Yep.
And then we went on to the Romanian deadlifts, which are the best for loading the posterior chain and especially the hamstrings. So the major things that a lot of people get wrong is they don't hinge properly at the hips, and they also bend too much at the knee, which is what you were doing initially.
Yeah.
So we made sure you kept your knee the same amount of flexion in it the whole way. Felt that stretch through the hamstring. You can vouch for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I did. And I believe it or not, I think my Romanian deadlift before meeting you and learning it properly, I was actually putting the barbell back down all the way each time, and then losing the complete shape and then starting again. You realise today, watching you do it and then doing it myself, is that you don't need to do that. And it's just, again, those little things, but they're going to make a big change.
So there you go. They're the compound exercises that obviously are going to blow up your physique over the next 6 months. So take them away with you, whether you're at the gym or at home, obviously, because we've kind of done those key exercises with the equipment you have at home and will have access to at the gym. I'm going to be going away, for anyone that doesn't know, for about 5 or 6 months to Central and South America on a huge adventure, chasing challenges wherever I go. And when we get back, we're going to reconvene, probably do some videos on each of our channels, and Oscar's going to be bigger than me by then, aren't you, sir?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the goal. And, you know, that's the thing is I'm very proud and very thankful to be able to call you a friend and, you know, to be able to have someone who's sort of all going to be constantly in the back of my mind now. I got to set this thing up as soon as I get home and start on it, because, you know, I'm going to see you in 6 months and that's the first thing you're going to ask me. So,
exactly.
you know, hold yourself accountable, find someone like Adam, and, you know, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and that mindset of you that I love is the fact that you've got that no excuses set up at home, so that even if you can't get to the gym or you run out of time, you've got that base level of exercise that you're never going to miss.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems crazy to think that anyone at home might, you know, want any advice from someone like me. Like, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but
you say that, but look at the progress you've made.
Well,
in such a short
here we
amount
go.
of time, yeah.
So the number one thing that I can share is my no excuses set. So what I call that is basically I couldn't get to the gym as much as I wanted to. Work life, family life, the whole shebang. I just couldn't get in there as much as I wanted to. So I bought a set of adjustable dumbbells, a bench and a Peloton. Okay, that's it, and a barbell. But, like, you know, very minimal outlay if you think about what I've managed to achieve from it. And I call it the no excuses set because it's in the house. There is absolutely no reason why you can't get up super early, get it done, and then do your day. So anyone out there who's feeling like struggling about actually getting physically into the gym because of work and all these crazy silly hours that we all seem to work now, you know, I can't recommend it enough. No excuses set, because if it's in your house, there's no reason why you can't do it.
Exactly, and obviously the age-old adage, that's a hard thing to say, actually. I didn't realise it. Is consistency is key. It's overused, but it's so important. Like, unless you're nailing it every single day, those results compound. Like that cycling you've done every single day, those workouts where you don't miss a day for months on end, like it's that's what gives you the results.
Yeah, and absolutely. And also as well, you'll get addicted to it. So, you know, now I've got this sort of mad thing. Obviously, I don't drink when I go out. So even when we go and do these lovely things with clients and fancy restaurants and all this kind of stuff, I come back 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, get on the Peloton.
Yeah. Incredible mindset.
You know, so I will not let that day go. It's like, I haven't been on it yet, so I'm getting on it. It doesn't matter what time it is.
Love it. And I can't believe we've made it all the way through this far in the video without introducing who Oscar is and what he does. So you may have noticed the beautiful glistening Pepsi on his wrist and the emblem on his chest. So yeah, plug yourself, mate.
Okay, so my name is officially Oscar, or that's the nickname they've given me on the YouTube channel. And I am a purveyor of horological masterpieces.
What a title.
I sell the world's rarest watches, and I also unbox them on my YouTube channel and show them off to the world. and I only started it a year ago, which is something that me and you have in common, which is lovely thing for our friendship. We really did start around the same time, and it seems to be skyrocketing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards for both of us.
Absolutely.
And you've obviously got some insane pieces on the go at the moment.
Yes, so it's interesting, you know, that you mentioned the Pepsi, because it's like before I worked in this industry, that would have probably been a dream watch for me, but now the sky has gone, the private jets are flying over us. It's another world out there, and I'm so fortunate to be in the position I'm in, because I am literally living my dream. But what I will say, and this is very interesting, I'm sure, or I hope, it's certainly interesting to me as a person, is none of this stuff started happening to me until I got fit.
Yeah.
My whole life literally U-turned in a year, okay? And then now, the last 3 years has just been rocketing year after year after year. Off the booze, off the wacky stuff, looking completely different. And it's like, you can turn your life around in just that short amount of time. You know, my 20s to 30s was just party, party, party. And now it's so far in the rear view of what I'm doing and what I hope I'm about to become that, you know, it just took me a small amount of time to be able to make a big change.
No, for sure. It comes down to like two things, momentum and snowballing. Like as you get win after win after win and they just add up and compound. Yeah. And then like, you know, the stage gets bigger. Like you said, the Pepsi was the limit, now the sky's the limit. Oh. And yeah, you compound those wins, it gives you a positive mental attitude, and then you just keep pushing on to whatever's next for you.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I'm in my mid-30s, you know, I decided to do it at 30. I sell 400-gram watches to 20-year-olds, you know. I sit there, I look at them, I think, Jesus, well, you know, what are you doing? Let's tell me a bit about what you do, you know. And meeting some fascinating people, but I can't believe any of this stuff would have happened to me if I didn't quit the drink and get fit. End of discussion.
100%.
You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. Such a good message to pass on to other people as well. And this isn't our first chat on camera, is it? So you didn't actually mention the channel, so it's Official Watches.
Yes, so it's Official Watches, all one word. And me and Adam even have an episode on there, and we'll be having another one when he gets back. And I sit in somewhere called Jardin du Mayfair, and it is heaven on earth for the watch enthusiast.
Certainly is.
So yeah, if you like watches, give it a click. If you don't like watches, just have a little look anyway. One of the things that I absolutely loved about my interview with you, you actually put these things to use, okay? And you very kindly brought a few of your pieces along for the interview, and I loved the kind of real use that you get out of your watches, and I'll always take my hat off to you for that.
Thank you very much. Well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on your channel, and obviously I've really enjoyed our workout and chat today.
Hey, listen, I'm absolutely honoured to be here. I'm honoured to be on Adam's channel, and I just want to say one thing about you, which is, honestly, if anyone's looking for someone to help get them fit, I know he's going on a 6-month trip, start on your own now, catch him on the way back, because if I'd have met this guy, I'd be sitting here, I'd be bigger than you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words.
Absolute
Honestly,
pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. See you in 6 months.
Hey, go and do big things over there, buddy.
I will do, my friend. If you like this one, please subscribe. As we've mentioned, there's a lot on the way for both of us. Head over to Oscar's and enjoy all we've got to offer. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. Thank you.